You're going to want to make sure your sofa seatbelt is buckled up for today's video. Today we're going to be discussing a case that began in a year that honestly probably none of us are going to ever forget. And that is the case of Tennessee versus Evelyn Boswell back in 2020. Now this is going to trial next month. I'm going to try and be at the trial. So go ahead and buckle your sofa seatbelt up. Let's take a trip in the portal, the time portal, back to a time when this first began. Or if this is brand new to you, let me introduce you to this case. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. Psh, sofa's back there. Psh, I'm right here. My name's Paul if you're new to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, my name is still Paul. Today, like I said, we're revisiting the Evelyn Boswell case that's going to trial next month. We'll be going over it. We'll be talking about it. It's a very sordid case. I covered this years ago when it was going on, and there's so many different players in this case. So what we're doing today is we're going to start with a timeline. I'll probably be a couple of videos just to break it down into digestible lengths of time, and we're just going to kind of lay it all out before the trial starts. Allegedly it's starting February 4th, so this is right around the corner. We're going to see. I'm going to try and make it to the actual trial, so we'll just see from there. So this video will consist of me talking, video clips, newspaper clips, all that jazz. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Now the case against Maggie Boswell, it's one that's all too familiar, and it began with that horrible noise that sends a lead ball to the bottom of your stomach, and that's the sound of the Amber Alert that went across Tennessee, letting everybody know that a child or someone was possibly in danger. Now those of us here in true crime that follow these cases and whatnot, we know the sound of that noise or anything like that, that time is of the essence. Time becomes extremely critical all the way from the very moment that that first distress call is sent in, really until the very end of the investigation, right? That becomes a huge key player and often the outcome of what's going to happen. Now, before we go much further, what I want to do is take a quick look at how the Amber Alert operates in the state of Tennessee. Even though this is like a federal law and whatnot, it operates differently from state to state and whatnot as far as like what triggers it and what does that. So let's take a look specifically at what takes place in Tennessee when we hear one of those alerts. So an article published last year in the Knoxville News Sentinel indicates the following, and I'll put it up here on the screen. It says the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, is the missing children's clearinghouse for the state. It is the only agency that can issue an Amber Alert. They are reserved for the most serious of missing children cases. Now in Tennessee, they go out statewide. In order for the system to be activated, TBI says the following criteria must be met. Okay, so we're going to go over these. Number one, the person is 17 or younger. Number two, an imminent danger or bodily injury or death. Number three, there is a description of the child, the abductor, or the vehicle. This state alone gets 500 to 600 reports of missing children a year and averages 8 to 9 Amber Alerts per year. Now, the sofa takeaway on this, okay, is when you hear that alarm going off, something serious is going on, a kid could be in danger, take a look at it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start on that timeline. We're going to go all the way back to February 2020. So February 18th, Evelyn May, she's reported missing, and this is by her grandfather, Tommy Boswell. Now, he reports this to the Department of Children's Services. Law enforcement agencies are notified, and they go out, they begin, collecting the necessary information and doing their thing. February 19th. So at this point, the local agencies report the information to TBI. They look at it and they're like, yeah, you know what? 100% Amber Alert is definitely needed. And that is when the state of Tennessee would get that first initial alert that went out everywhere. And they would hear the name Evelyn May Boswell for many people of Tennessee, obviously for the first time. But this wouldn't be a name that was forgotten. This would be one that would literally become almost a household name in much of Tennessee and the nation. So now remember the dates we just went over, February 2020, February 19th. Let's rewind to December 2019. This is the last time that Evelyn May was seen. Okay? Yeah. Okay, just bear with me here, right? The grandfather, the one we just talked about, he hadn't seen the little baby since December 2019, okay? So it was 2.5 months later that he first alerted the authorities. Okay. So Back to February 2020. Let's get back on track here. So February 21st, the TBI will send out this tweet I'm about to put on the screen. So you see here, it says the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations update. We now have information that indicates that individuals traveling in a gray 2007 BMW with Tennessee tags 3M9-6W9 have information regarding Evelyn Boswell's whereabouts. Now later that same afternoon, Sheriff Jeff Cassidy, he'd hold a press conference and he would basically provide the public with updates on the search for baby Evelyn May. Now let's take a look at some of the things that he had to say.
When was the last time the parents saw the child? You say that certain family members saw her last in December. When was the last time her mother and or her father saw her?
I'm not going to go with what the mother stated because, like I say, some of the conflicting stories are inaccurate, but a babysitter, and this is the day I'm going on, last saw the child December 10th and 11th.
Alrighty, sounds very familiar. Cough, cough, Casey Anthony. So if you didn't hear the question, it's a little bit lower. We're in the segment of this interview or the press conference where people are asked, the interviewers and whatnot, or the media is asking questions. And they're like, well, when's the last time? And he's like, hey, look, we're not really going on what Megan's saying because her stuff isn't adding up, okay? Literally, when this came out, I can remember, and it was like she took a page from Casey Anthony's story. The similarities are all there.
There's a lot of rumors regarding the mother. I mean, is she a suspect in this case, or is she cooperating with you?
You know, we're not disregarding anybody as a suspect at this time.
Has the father said anything? I know on Facebook he had some comments voicing his concern. Is he been cooperating with you as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Why was the mother in court this morning?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why she was in court.
Now, one of the earmarks of this case that makes it so tricky, so layered, so complicated is the legal going-ons with multiple family members in this. You're going to hear as we go, I'm not sure if we'll get to the mother and boyfriend and whatnot, between the mother, the boyfriend, Megan, they all had these court cases and other stuff going on from previous charges and this, that, and the other. So it really muddied the water.
Be a question for the juvenile court system. And who has custody of Evelyn? Did the mother have full custody of her?
Yeah, they had a baby out of wedlock in the state of Tennessee. The mother has full custody, so the mother would have full custody of the child.
And this is just confirming again what we talked about earlier. They had the baby out of wedlock, and apparently in Tennessee, that defaults to the mother having full custody.
With reporting a child missing after the child's been gone for 2 months, I mean, even though she said she's cooperating with the investigation, could she be looking at any additional child endangerment charges or stuff related to that?
That'll be something we'll have to discuss with our district attorney general and our district attorney's office. At this time, you know, she is cooperating, but like I say, some of the information she's given us hadn't been really accurate.
Now, this is the heartbreaking thing when you hear this. You know, of course, at this point in time, nobody knew the outcome of the case, right? They were still very hopeful, as you can see here, to find baby Evelyn. And again, so similar to Casey Anthony, it's like, oh, she's being cooperative, but it's like her stuff, her answers, whatever, it's leading us on a wild goose chase.
Obviously, in these kind of situations, you hope that you find the child alive. Do you think that we are looking for a child who is alive?
I think so, personally, and that's our main concern is to find Evelyn.
And again, the heartbreaking tragedy of this, and it's good to hear that they have this hope in the moment. You know, this is obviously the outcome that you hope for, but as we will soon learn, that was not the outcome in this case.
Can you go into detail as to why you believe that the mom's comments are not trustworthy, and that there's conflicting information coming from her?
Yeah, during our interviews, you know, her stories aren't leading up to stuff that we went out and checked on, video surveillance, eyewitness testimonies. So a lot of her information hadn't been accurate.
And as far as her story, I mean, what is she saying? You obviously, as law enforcement, look at someone who comes in and reports a child missing for 2 months. What is that story?
Yeah, I won't release that at this time as well, simply because it's went so many different directions and led us to so many different directions, and I don't want to confuse the public. Right now, you know, our main focus is getting Evelyn back, and the only information that I believe that could help us in maybe getting some more information is finding this gray BMW.
Now again, you hear this, I mean, literally, again, I'll say it 100 times in this, so similar to Casey Anthony, where the information's not adding up, and you could already tell, like, they know. They've done this enough to know, and again, they're hopeful, but there's literally zero reason that a parent should be misleading police to find their missing child, okay? look at how that usually turns out in every single scenario. Like, it's not good.
As far as an active search location, I know you said she had family in Virginia. This was issued out of Bluntbill. Where are you guys looking?
We've got foots on the ground everywhere. Every lead, 2 states. We've went to DeKalb County because we had a tip up there. I mean, it's nothing. It doesn't matter where the leads are or if they've seen Evelyn. We're going to go to it. We're going to follow up on it.
And God bless them for being so willing. I mean, you hear they're doing everything they possibly can. But sadly, again, they had no idea where they would eventually find little baby Evelyn. Now, within hours of this press conference, Megan would speak out. Okay, so we'd hear directly from her in an interview. Now, she'll end up obviously doing several interviews. She would speak to a reporter from a local NBC affiliate. And she begins the interview by talking about baby Evelyn, right? She's like, oh, she's a happy baby. Baby Shark's her favorite song. She loves waving at people. Describes this amazingly wonderful child, right? Now, you sit here and listen to that, and it's like, it's just tragic to hear, because it's like, well, then what was the issue, right? Why did we end up doing what we allegedly did? But, I digress on that. Now, what would end up happening is this was the first inklings for the public to see. And in this, Megan is going on about, this weird, well, I know who has her, but I don't want to say. They're going to do the press conference, but I mean, I thought I could trust them, but now they don't answer their phone. And, blah, 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 blah. And the interviewer just kind of kept asking these same questions over and over. Are you nervous? Kind of. It was so weird, but one thing that stood out to people so much was the dynamic of Chris Watts in the porch and the swaying. I just want him back. I just want him back. It was like 2.0 of this, right? She's just standing there. I just want her back. Sniffle, sniffle. I just want her back. And at other times, she looks completely happy, right? So you can imagine, like many of the cases that we cover here, what a person, and specifically Megan in this, their behaviors and actions do to impact the court of public opinion. Well, spoiler alert, there was never a team or hashtag Team Megan on this one. Okay, let's keep going.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you're feeling? Do you miss her? Are you worried?
Of course I miss her, and I can't tell anything about the ongoing investigation, but I'm sure you all have released an article about the car and stuff like that, so they have a pretty good idea of who has her. I mean, if they're watching, I just want them to bring her back.
Is there anything you'd like to say to them if they're watching?
I just want her back. That's my child.
I'm sorry. I know this must be hard. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about her? Do you have any pictures of her? Have you been looking?
Not on me, no.
Not on you? Have you been looking at photos and stuff of her while you're... How are you coping with all of it?
I just want her back.
And I know all of this is very hard. Can you tell me, how you're feeling?
I just want her back. That's all I want.
Are you feeling worried or anything along those lines?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that at all?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of vanished. Mm-hmm. So I'm just worried about, where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
So you do know who has her? You do. Can you tell us who that is, or you don't?
I can't release anything further about that. I'm sure they will at the press conference, but further than that, I can't say anything.
Mm-hmm. And so you do know who has her. Are you worried about her safety?
Well, now I am, because they won't answer phone calls. They've just kind of disappeared.
Do you have any regrets about not involving police sooner? I know that...
Well, sort of, but also in a way, I knew that as soon as anything went down, the person was going to just disappear. And they have. And they've tried to find them. They are going to find them. Mm-hmm. And I know they'll bring her back to me.
You feel fully confident in that. That's good. But if you could do this all over again, is there anything you would do differently?
Yeah, I probably called the first day. I should have. But I just didn't want them to run with her. Like they have now.
Did you ever expect them to run with her?
I knew that if anything really happened and anybody got involved, that they probably would.
Now, obviously, nothing good came out of Megan's interview. However, Sheriff Cassidy's news conference resulted in them locating that gray BMW in Wilkes County, North Carolina. Side note, that is where my grandparents and whatnot are from. So, when they announced this on the news, I was like, oh my God, this is so weird, right? Now, this is like 100 miles away from southeast of the investigation's epicenter. Now, law enforcement would stop them. They would arrest the occupants. They would get them with possession of stolen property. And I'm going to just let you guess who the female driving this BMW was. This is for the people who haven't followed this, right? It was Angela. Guess what her last name was? Boswell. Angela Boswell. Megan Boswell's mother. Okay, so just take that and pin it up to the wall there. We'll be circling back to it. Okay, so let's do a quick recap here, right? Because February 21st, the investigation, day number 4, this was a mega big day, right? This was the day of first in the search for baby Evelyn. Okay, first we have the public heard from both law enforcement and the child's mother, Megan, and authorities located, then arrested the duo alleged to have information on the baby's whereabouts. The search for Evelyn May continues with very little new information being released to the public. Law enforcement releases another photo of the missing baby and continues to work tirelessly to bring her home. Now then, a few days later, Megan sits down for yet another interview, okay? So keep in mind where we're at now. She started off talking about, well, I kind of know who has her, They arrest the mother. This is who she's claiming. Now let's see what she has to say in this interview.
She's never been mean ever, which I'm very thankful for. She's just a really good-hearted baby in general. Like textbook how you want a baby to be, like, has hit every milestone early, you know what I mean? Well, when she was 6 months old, she actually quit a bottle on her own and went straight to a sippy cup. She started walking probably around like 10 months. That was kind of hard though, because she's like not like small as in like underfed, you know what I'm saying, but like she was a preemie when she was born. She's like a smaller baby and she kind of had trouble like balancing her weight, but she finally got the hold of it. She's starting to say a lot of words and, you know.
So again, you hear her just smiling, going on and on and on and on and on. Now again, keep in mind also, the end result of this is most likely, allegedly, Megan knows exactly what really is going on with Evelyn during this time. It just gives it this other level of sinisterness.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that. I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. Because I've told them, and they're not really, like, taking it seriously, and if they don't go tonight, like, I will go myself and go get her.
Tell me about the last time, though, that you saw Evelyn. Tell me what you guys did and when that was.
We went to go out to eat, and then my mom came and got her. She was wearing a little hot pink tracksuit with a matching bow and little matching shoes.
The absolute confidence in Megan saying this story is bone-chilling, okay? Literal bone-chilling. I'm not sure what she thought she was going to pull off with this, because again, spoiler alert, none of that happened, okay? Like, that's what's so eerie about this, and the way she's doing it with a smile on her face.
My mom, like, you can ask her, is a very vindictive, manipulating person, and she basically, like, threatened me the whole time that she was gone.
Do you know who has Evelyn right now?
She dropped her off somewhere in Mendota at a silver camper. But my mom would always say the person, not like people, plural.
Now, this whole thing right here, I'm sure investigators are like, huh? Because notice what she said in the very beginning. Well, my mom, you can ask her, she's a really vindictive person. Like, somebody's going to say it about themselves. And then I'm also sitting here like, what's your story? Like, why would you let your child near this person, right? Now, again, keep in mind, there's a lot of issues, a lot of substance abuse stuff going on. And I'm not trying to sit here and say just because that's going on that somebody would do something bad or whatever. But it complicates this case in that everyone has like a lot of active issues going on. Now, Angela also allegedly had some issues like with stuff in her past from like with child things and whatnot as well. So there's a lot of bad mojo going on here amongst everyone. And as you clearly say, Megan's very quick to throw her own mother under the bus.
They're not taking me seriously, TBI isn't, because I've not fully told them. I've been like, hey, like my mom camped out at Mendota, you want to go check them out, but I've never been like specifically, hey, she's not your silver camper, because my mom did threaten me, like, you know, if I told anybody. I'm not going to get into that, but she did.
Like, you know, I mean, just in this, she's like, oh, I told TBI, you know, but I mean, I didn't tell them like the silver camper because, like, you know, because my mom did threaten me, and I don't want to get into that, but like, she did. You know that they were like, girl, where's Evelyn? Okay, this story is falling apart, I mean, fast.
So your mom has had Evelyn the whole time? Or the whole time?
Or the person that is in Mendota has had her the whole time.
Tell me why you let your mom take care of her. Did she take her from you that night? And
Well, she was just supposed to babysit her
You had to go to work.
because I was going to work.
then when did you know that something was wrong?
Well, whenever, like, she picked me up Wednesday, and I told her, like, hey, they're doing a press release about the Amber Alert thing, and then she freaked out, and that's why they couldn't find her. Like, nobody talked to her for days until they arrested her. She just kind of, poof, gone. But she kept trying to take me to Mendota, and I kept asking. I was like, are you taking me to Evelyn? And she would never tell me yes or no. And I was like, well, if you're not, I'm just calling somebody from the police station to come and get me. Like, I'm not playing these games with you.
The other eerie thing about this is the way she's smiling this whole time. Like, I don't know if you call that duper's delight or just pure evil. But again, listen how she's literally blaming this on her mother. And I guess to me, I'm thinking, what do you think that your mother's going to say? Like, do you think she's really going to admit to that? Like, it's the brazenness. But again, look at Chris Watts, right? Look at, like, Casey Anthony. It takes that level of brazenness. I would argue to say that maybe Megan and Casey had way more of that brazenness than Chris Watts did. I think he was way out of his league once he realized what he did, right? But Casey and the lies that are just coming off of them and the sinisterness is absolutely just bone chilling to me. Now, you can only imagine that after this interview, WJHL reported that the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office scoured, a campground in Mendota. And guess what? They didn't find anything. And obviously, as you've seen and heard, Megan's mother, Angela, had tire marks, skid marks all up and down her after this Throw Mama from the Train Part 2. Now, Sofa Squad, if you watch this unfold in real time, then you're going to remember there was a lot of drama surrounding Megan's mother, Angela, Megan's mother, Angela's boyfriend, when this played out. So let's go ahead and get on into Megan's mama's drama. Okay, so the arrest. Now, during the early stages of the search for Evelyn, Angela Boswell, she's arrested with her boyfriend, William McLeod. They have possession of the stolen vehicle. That's what we just heard about. So whose vehicle was it? The gray BMW belonged to Melissa Wood, the mother of Megan's ex-boyfriend, Hunter. Now, how did they become in possession of the vehicle, you might be asking? Megan was supposedly going to buy the car. Wood testified that she gave the car to Megan Boswell after being told she would receive payment February 13th. Megan reportedly had permission to drive the car to get it checked out before purchasing. Wood stated she never gave permission to Angela or William and believed Megan was still in possession of the BMW right up until it was returned. So then who reported the car as stolen? Surprisingly, it wasn't Megan. Okay, concerned mother Megan. It wasn't her. Nor was it the actual owner of the car. It was law enforcement. Knox News reported that authorities investigating the disappearance of Evelyn May filed a car theft charge against the pair in order to get both behind bars for questioning about the little girl's disappearance. So what did this have to do with the search for baby Evelyn? Absolutely nothing. It just slowed things down. Now, Megan's mama might be a lot of things. She might have a lot of drama. She might have a rap sheet bigger than a CVS receipt. But she was not an accomplice to this crime of her daughter's, okay? So what I want to do is also get into where Angela's case fits into this, or where her crime does. Even though it's not involving what took place with baby Evelyn, it's a crucial part of the story and the way that this timeline played out. Now, also, Megan's reaction to the whole stolen car drama foreshadowed a whole bunch of stuff. Now we're going to get into Megan's reaction, all that drama, her mom and all that in the next video. What I want to do is round this out and ask some questions and go over some thoughts. Now, if you are watching and you're new to this case, you probably have a ton of questions like I did, like I still do, like law enforcement did, the whole 9 yards, right? Like I said, it's incredibly complex, okay? One of the things that I noticed in this case, again, are the similarities to other things we see. Think Letitia Stalk, think Chris Watts, think Casey Anthony, all of these cases that we've seen that were very popular. One of the questions that I have that I'm very curious to see in trial, just what we witnessed here, her absolute confidence in getting up there and with that little smirk on her face and talking about baby Evelyn and the way that she did, where I'm just like, like, I'm very curious if I go to the trial to see what energy she brings in the courtroom, right? And I feel like with this case, it's you would have to be in the same room with her to get her vibe. Now, I've read on comment sections, and you already know I've been in the comment sections, people talking about, I live in this town, and you know what, this baby probably just got in her way, and this, that, and the other. You know, I don't personally know anyone involved in the case. I don't know them. I'm not from there, so I don't know, but I'm curious to know. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. We're going to put this on pause. We're going to come out with another part of it so we can digest this. Give Emily some time to keep the sofa cushions fluff like she does up in here for us. We do love you for that, Emily, our moderator. And if you could, drop some sofas off down in the comment section for us to keep fluffed up and all that. For myself, for Roscoe and Spirit, boys who are hanging out over there. So I have a place to hang out, go over this absolutely tragic, heartbreaking case and all the other cases we do go over here at the Sofa Squad. And until we do meander our way down to the comment section, I'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Ross on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.